The Supreme Court takes on the debate over blockading pregnant women from abortion clinics.
If you haven't listened to anything else I've said tonight, listen very carefully to this.
It could be the most unorthodox presidential campaign ever. New questions about Ross Perot and the debates as Perot opens a new pitch in America's living rooms. And our Money Crunch series on beating the high cost of health care. Tonight, avoiding the insurance trap. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. Just 4 weeks before the election, President Bush has decided to take a high-risk, flatly anti-abortion stand in a case before the United States Supreme Court. In arguments today, the president had his administration side with groups that claim a right to blockade abortion clinics. Rita Braver has more about abortion, the law, and the election.
The Supreme Court was an abortion battleground again today. The justices were considering whether clinic blockades violate the civil rights of women seeking abortions and whether federal marshals should be called in to protect those women.
This is me here.
Liana Huth says demonstrators violated her civil rights when they attacked her as she went for an abortion earlier this year.
I can't believe that in this country that I couldn't go to an appointment that I had scheduled where it's completely legal at this point, and I had to go through that.
This Chicago woman, who asked us not to use her name, says the blockade was even worse for her. She desperately wanted a baby, but chose abortion because the child would have been born with a fatal birth defect.
My privacy was ripped away from me. I was mentally raped, and it's not something you get over very easily. It's something that stays with you for a long time. I'm sorry.
The question of federal protection is important because federal marshals have more resources than most local police. But Operation Rescue, backed by the Bush administration, says abortion blockades don't violate civil rights.
The issue in this case today is, does opposition to abortion constitute discrimination against women? The answer has to be no, it does not.
And though this case is technically about blockades, both sides agree that it symbolizes the president's commitment to abolishing the right to abortion, upheld by just one vote last term.
Not only do they not want to do anything to ensure abortion rights, they want to make sure that they can chip away so that ultimately there will be no rights.
George Bush has been a faithful ally of the pro-life movement. Therefore, we have a strong vested interest in his re-election.
An 8-member Supreme Court considered the blockade issue last term but could not reach a decision. Now, Clarence Thomas's vote is expected to help the president win here. But this close to the election, with the majority of Americans favoring abortion rights, the president's stance could lose him a lot of other votes at the polling place. Rita Braver, CBS News at the Supreme Court.
With the first presidential debate, as it's called, scheduled for Sunday, now there's some questions. First, will there actually be an event? And if so, who will be there? The sticking point, the Bush and Clinton camps want Ross Perot to be invited to all of these events. The Election Commission debate panel, official sponsors of the event, say that it will only commit to inviting Perot to the first one. Now, whether or not Perot actually appears in the joint appearances or not, he bought TV time for himself tonight, as Bill Legatuda reports.
I thought it would be a good idea to take the most important problem first. That problem is our economy and jobs.
Ross Perot begins running his infomercials tonight.
Look right here at the red.
30 minutes of pie charts and plain talk.
If you haven't listened to anything else I've said tonight, listen very carefully to this.
But America may be sick and tired of listening to Ross Perot.
Everyone